Hello students, myself Sumangla Biradar. In the previous video, we discussed about three schema architecture, DBMS languages and DBMS interfaces. Now in this video, we'll focus on database system environment. Database DBMS component models. Typical DBMS component model is divided into two parts. So upper part refers to users and interfaces, and lower part it refers to the storage of the database and processing of the transaction. So in the users part, in the upper part, different types of the users are DBA staff, casual users, application programmers, and parametric users. So first we'll see the interfaces of the DBA. DBA means here database administrator staff here. Database administrator staff uses DDL statements to define the database and also tuning it by making changes in the defined database here. So now that defined database are compiled using DDL compiler. So DDL compiler processes the schema definitions which are specified in DDL statements and stores the description of the schema in the DBMS catalog. This catalog includes informations such as the names and size of the files, names and data types of the data items, and storage details of each files and constraints here. Next is privileged commands here. So as I told, one of the work of the database administrator is to check the authority of the users to allow to access the resources here. So based on the authority, you have to provide the different types of the privileges to different users here. So privileges may be read only, read write. Okay, so to grant those privileges or to revoke those privileges, you are using the privileged commands here. Next is casual users. Casual users who occasionally need for information from the interfaces here. For that, they will use interactive query interfaces to interact with the information from the database here. These interactive query interfaces are compiled using query compiler. So these queries, what are the queries are generated by the casual users to access the information occasionally. Those queries are parsed and validated for correctness of the query syntax here. So after that, queries are passed to query optimizer here. So query optimizers rearrange. Okay, so they will make the rearrangement and also they make the reordering of the operations. What are the operations you get from the query compiler? No, that one it rearranges and also it eliminates the redundancies and use of the correct algorithms and execute and indexes during execution. So for that it consults with the system catalog for statistical and other physical information about the stored data, and next it generates the executable code that performs the necessary operations for the query, and it makes calls to the runtime processor here. Next is application programmer. So application programmers are uses application programs. Okay. So now those application programmers, they write the programs using host languages like Java, C or C++ or Python here. So those applications or programs are submitted to a pre-compiler here. So the pre-compiler next it extracts DML commands from an application programs which are written in host programming language, and these commands it sends to DML compiler here. So next DML compiler makes compilation into object code for database access here. So the database access is stored in the system catalog here. So next remaining pre-compiler will transfer it to host language compiler here. So now after that you will get the compiled transaction. These are the compiled transaction, usually we call as a CAN transaction. So these CAN transactions are what here? These are the executable codes here. Okay, and next is parametric users. Parametric users, they are execute this canned or compiled transaction repeatedly by sending the different parameters to the transaction here. Okay, so parametric users, they use the compiled transaction as a executable codes. Already it is available or it is created by application programmers here. So parametric end users work is what? Just to pass the parameters to compile this transactions here. So these transactions we call as a CAN transaction here. And every time based on the parameters, it executes as a or consider it as a separate transaction here. So for this one, I'll take the example of the bank teller here. So for the bank teller, so many users will go and ask for the withdrawal of the amount here. So for that they have to run the withdrawal transaction here. For the withdrawal transaction, for different users you are having the different account number and amount is varying here. So for each users it consider as a separate transaction here. Okay. So now but the same transaction you are executing repeatedly by sending the parameter as a account number and the amount, which is changes from one user to another user. But the CAN transaction is fixed here. Only you are varying the parameters here. Okay. So now after that it will comes to the lower part here. So in the lower part you are having the runtime database processor. So work of the runtime database processor is related with the DBA commands, that is the privileged commands, execution of the privileged commands, and queries, the executable query, it executes the executable query plans which are generated by casual users, and CAN transactions with the runtime parameters here. Okay, parameters it varies during the runtime here. And also it works with the system catalog here. So runtime database processor is also consult the system catalog to make updation in the system and statistics of the database here. So next here you are using one more user, that is the stored data manager here, which in turn it uses, okay, stored data manager uses basic operations, okay, to perform the input and output operations. So here you are using the input and output operations. Input and output operations are nothing but read and write operations. Read and write operations between the disk and the main memory here. Okay. So next is concurrency control, backup or recovery subsystem here. So concurrency control. So as you know that one of the advantage of the DBMS is the concurrency control. Concurrency control is nothing but, so for every user, if they want to access the same database at the same time, yes, it allow all the users to access the database at a time, but it manages the database in such a way that it executes in sequence, but every users will feel that I am the only user using or accessing that particular database here. So that is what we call as a concurrency control here. Next is backup. So as I told earlier, so if your system crashes or disk fails, then you may lose the whatever the data it is stored in the stored database here. So for that you are having the facility of the backup here. So backup is a extra, okay, backup it is there. It has a separate storage, okay, device or as a log. So there it temporarily stores the data here. So if any problem arises here. So when it recovers from those crashes or from failures, it copies back the from the log to your device here. Okay. So that is also comes under this runtime database processor here. After processing that, so now before it reaches the store database, temporarily it stores in a backup. It provides the facility of the backup also. Okay. So this is about your DBMS component models here. Is it clear now? Okay. Next is DBMS system utilities here. So now along with this different types of the DBMS model, DBMS also uses this database utilities which help the DBA, database manager, database administrator to manage the database system here. So in that, first one is the loading. So this is the one of the utility which is used to load the existing data files. So that data file may be as a text files or it may be a sequential file here. Okay. So next is, so now this one, as I told here, loading is to load the data files here. So in the loading you can also use the one more time as a conversion tools here. Conversion tools means from one source, okay, from one source to another source. If you want to copy the database here, to load the data from one system to another system, from one organization to another organization, from one application to another application. So you require the same data. Okay, then what is the thing you have to make? So requirement is same here. Data format is maybe vary from one organization to another organization or from one system to another system. So now then you have to make conversion from one format to another format here. Is that okay? During loading it also makes the conversion from source to target device here. Okay, so now target format may be different, or source format of the data may be different here. So now when it is loaded to the target system, so it convert that to according to the target format here. So that also comes under in this loading, and that tool only you call as a conversion tool here. Next is backup. As I told earlier, so here you are providing the backup of the database here. So for that you will maintain the backup copy of the database using the additional mass storage media or any separate or external tape here. Okay, so same copy of the data it is stored in a separate storage device here. Okay, that one we actually call as a log here. And also you are having the one more term here as a incremental backup here. Incremental backup is the updation in the copy here. However, you will make the modification in the database. So incrementally you are updating that one in the wherever you are maintaining the copy as a another or extra or one more additional storage media here. Next is database storage reorganization. This utility is used to reorganize a set of data files. Okay, what are the data files you are having now? That one you can reorganize here into a different files here. Okay, and also it creates a new access paths. Okay, earlier what are the access paths you are having now? That one also you can reorganize here. Which purpose? To improve the performance here. Next is performance monitoring. This utility usually use, okay, so for the monitoring the database usage, and also provide statistics to the database administrator. And database administrator uses the statistics in making decisions such as whether or not to reorganize the files here. So based on the statistic, database administrator will decide that whether I need to reorganize the files or not, or whether I have to add or drop of the indexes. Okay, what are the index I used to retrieve the data. Okay, so that one I can improve by using this performance monitoring here. Okay, so next, some additional database system utilities here. So additional database system utilities. So here you are using the terms as a data dictionary or repository, information repository. So data dictionary is storing the information here. Okay, so now as you already know that schema you are storing in a system catalog as a definition of the data here. So along with that you can also store the other informations like designing decisions, usage standards, application program descriptions, and user informations. All this other information also you can store. That one we call as a information repository here. Okay, is it clear now? So here, along with the design phases of the database system related information also you can store along with the database structure here. Next is application development environment here. So application development environment is what it is. So developing of the application here. So now for that, okay, examples for application development environments are Power Builders, J Builders or J Developers here. So these are systems provide an environment for developing the database application, and also it includes facilities that may help in database system, which may include database design, graphical user interface development, querying, updating and application program development here. So these are the things comes under in this application development environment here. These are the additional utilities here. Is it clear now? Okay. Thank you.